Hello everybody over on YouTube and we stream. This is for the part where I'm actually starting the recording for the Krita section. For those, if you were to watch this live, this would be the last hour of the stream pretty much, where I switch from Blender over to Krita. I'll be putting it up on screen in a second. I'm just having some minor technical difficulties for some weird reason, of which I can't get this application actually open. In the meantime, let me put some background music, of which I'm currently experimenting with. This is YouTube provided music, so it shouldn't have copyright issues. And to like check the volume. If it is too loud, let me know. If it's too low, also let me know. It's just right now, just ambient music, like just to set the mood a little bit, so you just not just hear me just yapping, or if I suddenly stay quiet because I'm thinking or something's happened, at least it's just not complete utter silence. Now the software is open. Just let me get the screen capture to work, to have that on the background in case that it gets hands-on and I need to actually do something on the editor itself. I like having the stuff open just in case. Also, I have the window a little much bigger this time, unlike the first video, just in case, so it's more clearly visible, just in case. But once I get to the actually more practical stuff, it is going to be down below where it was on the first video. So let me do the transition now. Get off studio mode so I can actually see this properly. And last we left off, we had gone through like this whole color section, which I probably could have skipped it, and we left off on transparency, something I do need to learn once I start like doing some actual drawings. Whether it be making a 2D avatar, which I still haven't decided whether I'll go 2D or 3D. Probably 2D because of my hardware limitations, or a low poly model. We need to talk to someone that actually knows that a little bit more. Hopefully audio is good. Hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. And for those watching the video, you don't have to worry about the whole Blender part if you're not interested. But if you are, that there is their own separate videos, or you can watch the VOD where everything's all together. Also, of course, I'm gonna sell out again. Down in the description below, there is a link to the Power Shop where you can get energy mixes, sweet mixes, hydration, shakers, and even stickers. If you use credit code BLACKHEART, you will get a 10% discount and help support the channel in the process. Now, on with the actual documentation itself. Know that I am no artist, so even once I get to the more hands-on stuff, expect trash. I'm not good at drawing. I'm definitely gonna need a lot of practice, but no, I am really bad. I can't draw for shit. But first, I need to learn how to use this Krita software and its ins and out, because I have never used software like this. I've never used Photoshop. Why? Because I can't pay for it. Photoshop ain't free, so. But Krita is a free alternative, from what my own brother recommended me this. And well, here I am learning it. So here we go, on with transparency. Just in case, let me check. Oh yes, okay, everything's good. And we shall go on with this last hour of the stream part. Transparency. Just like red, green, and blue, a computer can also store how transparent a pixel is. And this is important for composing a mentioned before. After all, there is no point in having multiple layers if you can't have transparency. And what the hell just happened? YouTube, don't just reset or cancel. Let me just hop on over to the next one. Maybe that track was bugged or something. Okay, there we go. Transparency is stored in the same way as color, meaning that it is also a channel We usually call this channel the alpha channel, or alpha for short. The reason behind this is that the letter alpha is used to represent it in programming. Which, how do you even put that letter with a keyboard? How do you put that letter in a programming? I am a bit, do know a bit programming. I have never seen how to put that actual alpha symbol. What? Okay, I've probably never seen that being used on programming, but then again, my programming knowledge is a little bit on the basic side. Some older programs don't always have transparency by default. Krita is the opposite. It doesn't understand images that don't track transparency, and will always add the transparency channel to images. When a given pixel is completely transparent and all the layers, Krita will instead show the checkerboard pattern like the rose image shown above, which would be this checker pattern. Blending nodes. Because colors are stored as numbers, you can do math with them. You can call this blending nodes or compositing nodes. Blending nodes can be done per layer or per brush stroke, and thus are also part of the composing of layers. I see that if like you were like using two different colors so to create like a shadow, but yet maintaining the color itself or something like that. I don't know, or I won't know until I actually give it a try. Multiply, a commonly used blending mode. It is for example multiply, which multiplies the components leading to darker colors. This allows you to simulate the subtractive mixing and thus makes painting shadows easier. That's exactly what I meant by that. Adding. Another common one is addition, which adds one layer component to another, making it perfect for special glow effects. Okay, that's interesting. Erasing is blending mode in Krita. There is no eraser tool, but you can toggle on the brush quickly with the E key to become an eraser. You can also use it on layers. Unlike other blending nodes, this one only affects the alpha channel, making things more transparent. I guess you would use this if you like put something you drew on top of another and you want to kind of see a little bit what's beneath it, but not entirely. But you want like somebody to still like show off, like wet clothes for instance, like you can see some of the clothes but you can see what's underneath it. Normal blend mode just averages between colors depending on how transparent the topmost color is. Krita has 76 blending modes. Damn! Was that a little too many? Each doing slightly different things. Head over to the blending mode to learn more. Because we can see channels as grayscale images, we can convert grayscale images into channels. Like for example, we can use a grayscale image for the transparency. We can call this mask, of which we are about to go into. Okay, this actually looks really nice. Do not expect me to draw something like that. If I try, it'll look horrendous. Masks are the type of sub-effect applied to layers, usually driven by a grayscale image. The primary type of masks are transparency masks, which allow you to use a grayscale image to determine the transparency, where black makes everything transparent and white makes the pixels fully opaque. You can paint on a mask with any of the brushes, or convert a normal paint layer to a mask. This big benefit of mask is that you can make things transparent without removing the underlying pixel. Furthermore, you can use mask to reveal or hide a whole group layer at once. For example, we have a white ghost lady here. Yeah, here, like, this should be transparent here in this example. Otherwise it looks more like an unfinished drawing. But you can't really tell whether she's a ghost lady or just a really white. If only we could give the idea that she floats. We right click the layer and add transparency mask. Then we will select the mask and draw with a black and white layer gradient, so that the black is below, which would be this. This is what I mean by seeing things underneath it. Without actually getting rid of it, you can still see the ghost, but you can also see what's underneath. Something I may rely on some images I might try. Or like effects. Maybe I can make my flames that you can see like on my characters somewhat transparent, but not entirely. You'll still be able to like see them or something. Wherever the black is, there's a lady now become transparent, turning her into a real ghost. Ooh. Sorry, I couldn't help it. The name mask comes from traditional masking fluid and film. You may recall the earlier comparison of the section to traditional masking fluid. Selection 2 are stored internally as grayscale images, and you can save them as a local selection, which is kind of like a masking, or convert them to a transparency mask. Filters, something I might rely on a little bit. We mentioned earlier that you can do masks with colors, but you can also do masks with pixels or groups of pixels or whole layers. In fact, you can make Krita do all sorts of little operations on layers. We call this operation filters. Example of such operations are desaturate. This makes all pixels turn gray. Blur. This averages the pixels with their neighbor, which removes sharp contrast and makes the whole image look blurry. Sharpen, this increases the contrast between pixels that had a pretty high contrast to begin with. Color to alpha, a popular filter which makes all of the colors, all of the chosen colors, transparent. Krita has many more filters available. You can read about them here, of which I won't get you yet because I'm probably not gonna mess with filters early on. Filter brush engine. Because many of these operations are per pixel, Krita allows you to use the filters as part of a filter brush engine. In most images manipulation software, these are separate tools, but Krita has it as a brush engine, which allowing much more customization than usual. This means you can make a brush that desaturates pixels, or a brush that changes a hue of the pixel underneath. Different filters brush being used on different parts of the image. So here you can kind of see the different effects of the individual filters on different parts of exactly the same image. Pretty neat. Filter layer, filter mask, and layer styles. Krita also allows you to let the filters be part of the layer stack via filter layer and filter mask. Filter layer affects all the layers underneath in the same hierarchy. Transparency and transparency mask on filter layers affect where the layer is applied. Mask, on the other hand, can affect a single layer and are driven by the grayscale image. They will also affect the layer in a group, much like transparency mask. We can use the filter to make our ghost lady look even more ethereal by selecting the ghost lady's layer and creating a clone layer where we then right click and add the filter mask and use Gaussian blur to set to 10 or so pixels. And let me check what the hell is wrong with YouTube. And of course you decide to just stop the music altogether. Sorry about that. Then the clone layer is then put behind the original layer and set to the blending mode color dodge, giving her a definite spooky glow. You can keep on painting on the original layer and everything will get updated automatically. Okay. Might need to experiment with that once I get to that spot because I didn't understand it entirely. Layer effects and layer styles are filters mass popularized by Photoshop that are they're a little faster than regular masks, but not as versatile. They are available by right-clicking a layer and selecting layer style. Transformation. Transformation are kind of like filters, and in that these are operations done on pixels of an image. We have a regular image and layer wide transformation in the image and layer top menu, so that you may resize, flip, and rotate the whole image. We also have a crop tool, which only affects the canvas size, and more tools, which only moves a given layer. However, if you want more control, Krita often offers a transform tool. This is probably the tool it's talking about. I guess this is where that extra control comes from. You can just set the values yourself manually. But I probably won't rely too much of that unless I'm looking for something a little bit more precise. I'll probably grab it, set it with the mouse, get as close as I can, and then just finish it editing there. With this tool, you can rotate and resize the canvas, or put in a perspective, or you can use advanced transform tool like the warp, cage, and liquefy, which allows you to transform by drawing custom points, or even by pretending it's a transforming brush. Deform brush engine. Like the filter brush engine, Krita also has a deform brush engine, which allows you to transform with the brush. This deforms is like a much faster version of the liquefy transform tool mode, but in exchange its results are much more lower quality. Apple transforms into a pear with liquefy on the left and deform on the right. Yeah, liquefy is better, but I do see some uses for the deform one. Let's say you drew like a barrel, but you want to make it look really beat up, like somebody put a bunch of punches into it, then deform one would be much better than liquefy. Like if it Ryu had a bad day and so you take it out on the poor little can. Furthermore, you can't apply the deform brush as a non-destructive mask. Transform mask. Like filters, transform can be applied as a non-destructive operation that is part of the layer stack. Unlike filters and transparency masks, however, transform masks can't be driven by the grayscale image. The technical reasons you can use transform masks to deform, clone, and file layer as well. Okay, animations. This might help. If we, in the Unreal section, we actually go for the 2D stuff, not only could I probably draw the assets for the game here, for the 2D game, but also animate it here as well. That's useful. I don't know much about animation. I've never animated anything. That's why I'm kind of clueless at this sort of stuff. From version 3 onwards, Krita got raster animation support. You can use the timeline animation and onion skin Docker, plus Krita amazing variety of brushes to do raster based animation, export those and then turn them into movie or GIFs. Something will probably get you later down the documentation, probably. Assistant, grid, and guides. With all this technical stuff, you might forget that Krita is a painting program, like how when working with traditional medium, as an illustrator, you can have all sorts of equipment to make drawing easier. Krita also often offers a variety of tools, and this is still better than what I would be able to draw. Krita's vanishing point assist in action. Hopefully, like, Krita has something like to add these like automatically in a way. Like, I set the points and it just draws the lines for me, which will be like extremely helpful because I cannot make straight lines properly, and sometimes I can't really make up my mind, and having a tool that automatically adjusts this will be super handy. Say grid and guide docker, a very straightforward guide tool which shows grid and guidelines that can be configured. Sorry, I was just fixing the music just now because for some reason it stopped on its own. I don't know what's wrong with YouTube. When I first started, it was just working just fine, hopping from song to song. But now I don't know what's wrong with it. It's not doing it. Snapping. You can snap to all sorts of things. Grids, guides, extensions, orthogonals, image center, and bounding boxes. Lowering the volume on my headset. I hope that is not too loud for you guys. My headset is a little bit. Painting with assistant. Because you can hardly put a ruler against with your tablet to help you draw, the assistants are there to help you draw concentric cycles, perspective, parallel lines, and other easily forgotten but tricky to draw details that allows you to snap to those via the tool options as well. This is great because I'm probably going to be relying on that quite a bit. These guides are saved into Krita's native format, which means you can pick up your work easily afterwards. Customization. This leads the final concept, customization. In addition, rearranging the dockers according to your preference, Krita provides a safe and saves your configuration as workspaces. This is a button at the top right. You can also configure the toolbar via settings, configure toolbar, and as well as the shortcut under both setting configure Krita, shortcut and setting configure Krita, canvas input settings. And that ends the basic concept. Now it moves in to the navigations, of which, let me see, I think I could probably start. It's only been like 25 minutes, so I might as well just carry on. This is still the part of the getting started. Let's see. Oh wow. Credit where credit is due. That looks amazing. Navigation. Interface. Krita's interface is very flexible and provides a simple choice for the artist to arrange the elements of the workspace. An artist can snap and arrange the elements much like snapping together Lego blocks. Krita provides a set of construction kits parts in the form of dockers and toolbars. Every set of elements can be shown, hidden, moved, and arranged that lets the artist to easily customize their own user interface experience. A tour of the Krita interface. As we've said before, the Krita interface is very malleable, and the way that you choose to configure the work surface may not resemble those shown below, but we can use this as a starting point. A is a traditional file or action menu found in most window applications. B is a toolbar. This is where you can choose your brushes, set parameters such as opacity and size of other settings. C is the sidebar for the movable panel docker. In some applications, these are known as dockable areas. Krita also allows you to dock panels at the top or bottom as well. The D section is status bar. This space shows the preferred mode for showing selected IEs, marching ants, or mask mode. Your selected brush presets color, space, image size, and provides a convenient zoom control. Oh. Whoops, I hit something. There we go. I was just having issue loading that. And last part, floating panel docker. These can be popped in and out of their docks at any time in order to see a greater range of options. A good example of this would be preset docker or the palette docker. This was see here. Wait, did I read status bar or did I accidentally skip status bar? Okay, here's the E. I think I accidentally skipped status bar. Whoops. Status bar. This page shows the preferred mode of showing selection. Ah no, I did read this. This is a lower section. Whoops. My bad. Your canvas sits on the middle, and unlike traditional paper or even most digital painting applications, Krita provides the artist with a scrolling canvas of infinite size. Not that you'll need it, of course. The standard navigation tools are as follows. Given it gives you infinite size, that means you can make the image as big or small as you want, without any restrictions, which is pretty nice. I was for more detailed stuff. Navigating the canvas. Many of the canvas navigation actions, like rotation, mirroring, and zooming, have default keys attached to them. Panning, this can be done by either the middle mouse button or by holding space plus left mouse button and the directional keys. Zooming, discrete zooming can be done through plus and minus, which I'm not gonna press because those are tied to my microphone. Using control space or control middle mouse button, point at the wheel. Shortcuts allowing you to directly zoom with a stylus. Mirroring, something I play a lot when it comes to probably making like characters or symmetrical objects. You can mirror the view. Can be quickly done via M key. Mirroring with a great technique at seasoned digital artists use to quickly review the composition of their work and ensure that it reads well, even when flipped horizontally. New in version 5.1, if you use Alt M, mirroring will use the cursor position as the center to mirror around instead of the middle of the view. There is also mirror canvas available in the shortcut settings to assign a shortcut to. Rotating. You can rotate the canvas without transforming it. It can be done with a control plus bracket, shortcut, or 4 key, and then other way with control the other bracket, shortcut, or 6 key. Quick mouse based rotation is done with a shift space and shift middle mouse button shortcuts. To reset rotation, use the 5 key. You can also find these under view canvas. Let me drink something. My mouth is a little bit dry. I was starting to feel my throat a little bit dry. After all, I've been like talking and reading these for how long now? 2.5 hours. Normally when I'm talking during my games sections, it's not as much and the tone is different. Now let's see, Dockers. Krita subdivides many of its options into functional panels called Dockers, also known as docks. Dockers are a small window that can contain, for example, things like the layer stack, control, color, palette, or list of brush presets. Think of them as the painter's palette, or his water, or his brush kit. They can be activated by choosing the settings menu and the Dockers submenu. There you will find a long list of available options. Dockers can be removed by clicking on the X in the upper right of the Docker window. Dockers, as the name implies, can be docked into the main interface. If you do this by dragging the Docker onto the sides of the canvas, or top or bottom if you prefer. Dockers contain many of the hidden and powerful aspects of Krita that you will want to explore as you start delving deeper into the application. You can arrange the Dockers in almost any permutation and combination according to the needs of your workflow, and then save these arrangements as workspaces. Dockers can be prevented from docking by pressing the control key before starting to drag the Docker. Sliders. Krita uses these controls values like brush size, opacity, flow, hue, saturation, etc. Below is an example of Krita's slider. Pretty standard. I think I've seen something similar somewhere else, I just don't remember where. The total range is represented from left to right, and blue bar gives an indication of where the position range is currently value. Its current value is. Clicking anywhere left or right, the slider will change the current number to something lower to the left or higher to the right. To input a specific number, hold the left mouse on or the right right mouse button the slider. A number can now be entered directly for even greater precision. Pressing the shift key while dragging the slider changes the value at the smaller increments, and pressing the control key while dragging the slider changes the value in whole numbers or multiples of 5. Changed in version 5.1, shift while dragging will now also enable relative mode, which means that the cursor can be dragged outside the slider area. That's pretty nice. Because I tend to actually do that sometimes I'm dragging and all of a sudden, whoop, it goes off the of the slide. Toolbar. Toolbars are where some important actions and menus are placed so that they are ready and quickly available for the artist while painting. You can learn more about the Krita toolbar and how to configure them over at the toolbar section of the manual. Putting these to effective use can really speed up the artist's workflow, especially for users of tablet monitors and tablet PCs, which I have neither. New in version 5, in addition to shortcuts and the toolbar, you can also search and quickly through all actions via the action search bar, which is accessed by Control Enter. Workspace Chooser. The button on the very right of the toolbar is a workspace chooser. This allows you to load and save common configurations of the user interface in Krita. There are few common workspaces that come with Krita. Okay, so if I go into the app right now, I would need to open it. Oh no, actually I can actually see it here. Which, yeah, there are very few, but there are a few. Not many. let's see, pop-up palette. Pop-up, okay, now I can, okay, there we go. Pop-up palette is a feature unique to Krita, designed to increase the productivity of the artist. It is a circular menu for quickly choosing brushes. Therefore, the background colors, recent colors while painting, no, color, foreground and background colors, recent color while painting. Okay, I read that a little bit wrong. To access the palette, you can just right click on the canvas, and the palette will spawn at the position of the brush tip or cursor. By tagging the brush presets, you can add particular sets of brushes to this palette. For example, if you add the ink brush, the ink brush preset, the inking tag, you can change the tag to link to inking on the pop-up palette, and you'll get all the inking brushes in the palette. I probably won't mess too much with this. Like, I'll use it definitely to like switch between all of this in the fly and select the color in the fly, but I probably won't go as far as editing unless fully necessary. You can tag brush presets via the preset docker. Check out the resource overview page to know more about the tagging in general. If you call up the pop-up palette again, you can click the tag icon and select tag. In fact, you can make multiple tags and switch between them. When you need more than 10 presets, go into settings, configure Krita, general, miscellaneous, number of palette presets, and change the number of present from 10 to something you feel comfortable. Well, that ended quickly. I thought that part would be a little bit longer. Uh-oh. Let's see. How long have I been going? Instruction coming from other softwares, of which I'm gonna skip this because I've never used other softwares, so I can skip that. If you have gone through other softwares, then yes, I would advise you go through that, so you maybe see the differences and where things are and how they work. I never used any other art software, like anything similar to Krita. I've never used it, so it serves me no purpose. And this is for those that come from Photoshop, which I never used Photoshop, so I am gonna just skip over this. If you are a Photoshop user trying to jump onto this, I would advise you actually go through this, just in case. Because I don't come from Photoshop, I am pretty sure I can actually just skip this. Wow, that looks good. Might as well look at the images and actually admire them a little bit. I'm pretty sure I won't understand any of that because I don't come from Photoshop. And there's coming from paint tools. I'll skip because I don't come from any of those tools. So it's a drawing tablet. This part I'm also going to skip because I don't have a drawing tablet. I'll probably come back to it when it comes to it, but I really do not have one, unfortunately. Maybe later down the line, I might get one. But at the current time, no. I don't have the money for that. Now, loading and saving brush. Okay, now this is where I'll pick up next Tuesday. I'm gonna leave the Krita section here. I'm almost at hour mark, and like I said, these Krita sections on my stream, they're gonna be only an hour long. And like Blender, this will be uploaded separately. It's its own video. For those that don't care about the Blender section of my VODs, you don't have to worry about skipping all the way. You can just find the video over on my YouTube or my VStream. Now, learning second brushes. This one is gonna take me a while. It is relatively long. And it seems like I'm going to explain a few things regarding the brushes, but plan an overview of it. Not sure yet. There's still plenty for me to go through. Hopefully it's not long till I actually start doing some like hands-on, actually start drawing something. Hopefully maybe there's something like more practical to do with the tutorials. I know I'm pretty sure on Blender there will be, but on Krita I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I've never used any software like this, ever. Paint, I messed with that when I was a kid. Right now, I just use it if I want to convert a PNG to a JPEG because YouTube doesn't support a certain size, of which is kind of bullshit most of the time. Why it doesn't support those sizes that are more common size when it comes to PNGs, which are better quality. But anyways, I'm gonna be ending first the recording before ending the stream because I then I'm gonna have to do something regarding like media showering on the VStream side. So YouTube outro, well, quote unquote outro. So like I said, I did skip a few things because those are like coming from other art related platforms. I don't come from any art related platform, so if you want to go through them, just go to the Krita page, learn section, getting started, and you will find it there. And I would advise you probably, if you're hopping over into Krita coming from those, maybe it'd be a good idea to go read those to get the differences and understand maybe something there from there doesn't work on here, or maybe here it works differently. Not entirely sure. There were a few things I myself said I don't understand because I'm not an artist. Maybe if anyone does, they can explain it to me a little bit better down the description, down in the comments below. I do read my comments and get a better grasp of this stuff. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye!